Welcome to the Talking Apron podcast. This podcast was started to help you create lasting lifestyle changes, to hopefully make a meaningful impact on your long-term health, specifically as we age in this chaos-driven world we kind of live in, so stress-inducing. So whether you're focused on preventing diabetes, managing an existing condition, losing weight, or just stabilizing your health through better nutrition, I'm here to guide and support you every step of the way. So today's topic, it's about how our identity, different pieces of our identity, shapes our habits, and how James Clear's concept, which is spoken about in Atomic Habits, how behavior change is identity change, can inspire long-lasting health improvements. As one of the pillars of my lifestyle coaching practice and an emphasis in the Talking Aprons Facebook community called Health Habits and Hope, I'm trying to connect this idea of a health habit to your health management. And it's really important when we emphasize how small changes in your daily routines can transform your health. We know that there are authors that back up what we're saying, because there's so much misinformation out there in the internet land. Well, I prefer to bring in the well-known, the well-written about concepts that have proven results. And I'm quite the reading nerd, and that's where James Clear's his book, Atomic Habits, comes in. So go ahead, go grab your cuppa, settle in, and we'll get started. If we are to understand the connection between identity and habits, we've got to go back to that idea that I spoke about, that James Clear said. Behavior change is identity change. That lasting behavior change requires seeing you as the kind of person who embodies that behavior. Well, what do I mean by that? That you have to have that identity of the change you want to make that's going to happen and be you in the future, but you've got to create that identity today. All right, did you get that? All right, I'll add in a little bit of a personal example of what happened, the identity that I lived through that I had to change. So I was teased when I was in elementary school, but mainly I was teased at home. Had 5 brothers and 2 sisters, but the boys are who teased me. You see, I'm Annie Banani with the big fat fanny, don't you know? And hearing that over and over again, I began to identify with somebody who was chubby. So it was a belief system I had about myself. It was an operating system that I worked under, that I would always be the chubby one, the one compared to her slender sisters, to her long-legged brothers. I was the petite, chubby sister. And there was nothing I could do about that, because I was a child and I didn't know that I had adopted the identity of chubby, that's who I was. So my identity got created from that teasing statement until I chose to alter that statement. And it was after I had my own children, and I noticed and had been reading up on parenting and how what you speak to them is what they believe. And I caught myself thinking that about myself. So my identity I chose was I am healthy, vibrant, and active. I'm not chubby. I'm healthy, vibrant, and active. And even more important here, as I age, I live that by the choices I make. And once I had made those choice, that thought process choice, that identity change, that I am a healthy, vibrant, active person, my habits slowly began to change. So as you listen to yourself. Listen to what you're thinking about. Are you saying, I want to lose weight? I've always had a problem keeping weight on my hips, or I crave carbohydrates. Now think to that identity. Are you identifying as a person that says to themselves, I'm someone who makes nourishing choices? Or are you saying, I have a hard time losing weight? So start listening for, what are you telling yourself? And maybe say to yourself, I'm someone who makes nourishing choices. Now, this link between identity and habits, like I shared about myself, has real life scenarios. Are you someone who identifies as a healthy eater, and you consistently learn and prepare nutritious and balanced meals? Or are you someone that says, I'm bad at cooking? So your habit of running through the fast food line pickup supports your identity as, I'm a bad cook. Are you following me? It's all in the perceptions we have about ourselves and our identity. This idea that my or your, I'll call it limiting belief, is our identity, that doesn't sit well with me. That means I'm like a flea in a jar that doesn't jump out. It's like I don't have control over myself or the goals that I've made to be healthier in 2025. Well, what does that mean if I think in my head, I'm too busy, I don't know how to organize and food plan, I don't know where to go shopping for the ingredients I need? Not so hot. That won't get us to our health goals. So here are some limiting beliefs or negative identity statements that we may have kind of stopping us from reaching our health goals. I'm just not a disciplined person. I can't make my lunch at night. Eating healthy is too hard for me. I've never been good at sticking to routines. I don't have time to plan my meals. I can't cook, so I'll never be healthy. When we think that way, the habits that we follow through with support those limiting beliefs. And then the new habits that we try to make have a really hard time sticking, because those habits that support the old identity, they're becoming self-fulfilling. And those limiting beliefs prevent you from making even the smallest new habit change. So the next step here is in identifying what thoughts do we have that are negative, and replace those or rewrite those. We have to challenge those beliefs that we have about ourselves to create a healthier identity. And one of the negative identity statements, once the negative identity statements are recognized, here are a few ways that we can rewrite your identity to build better habits. We're going to start by doing small steps, replacing one limiting belief with an empowering statement. For example, for Annie Banani with the big fat fanny, my body is athletic and strong to support my health as I lead an active life. That's one way I could look at it. It's not about being overweight. It's not about the shape of my body. It's not about my BMI. It's about my identity. I am an athletic, older woman, and I am strong to support my health and my body and my life as I age, because I will be leading an active life. Or to change a statement like, I'm not disciplined, to one that says, I'm learning to be consistent in small ways. I'm training to be a better cook. I'm in training to have better health habits. That way you take the thought of perfection out there, and it tells you it's a little bit believable. The second step is to celebrate and acknowledge all those tiny wins that you make. Each of those small habit wins, it reinforces that new identity that you are beginning. So an example is replacing the snack foods in your home, all those junk foods, with healthier foods. You can make a strong statement to your new emerging identity. I'm someone who prioritizes health and nutrition in caring for my body. So every time you're hungry and you want to get that little bag of chips out, you can say to yourself, I'm someone who prioritizes health and nutrition, and grab a better quality food. The third step in this transformation or rewriting of those negative identity statements is to visualize the success. Imagine that identity you want to embody. Imagine the pride, the confidence that you feel in yourself, that you are making choices for your own health that will affect you in the long term. See the physical example. What are you going to look like when you're smiling, when you're getting down at the floor, crawling, playing with your grandchildren, when you're sitting and standing and climbing stairs at the age of 88 and you don't have a problem getting in and out of a car? Hear yourself speaking who you are. Sure, I'll go hiking. Yes, I'll join you. Not, oh, my knees are acting up. Create that identity and visualize who are you going to be. Because right now, you may not be that. But visualize who are you going to be. And then you begin acting it, making a small habit change. And in your head, you're saying, I'm the person that manages my diabetes with confidence. Yes, that's me. I'm a person who cares for my long-term health rather than my immediate gratification. Now, the fourth step is really important. It's to surround yourself with support. And then that can look a number of different ways. One way is by connecting with people who reflect the identity of who you want to be. Get to know them. See who they are. I do networking functions for my lifestyle coaching business, and I go to this meeting once a month. And isn't it amazing that I gravitate toward those women that are lean, that are smiling, that have vibrancy, and don't complain. Not the ones that are, I'm having a little bit of a hard week, I don't know what to do. Now, I'm not saying that you can't express your hard days, but there's a type of person that I want to emulate, and I want to be like that. So that's who I invite. Hey, let's have coffee. I want to know them better. Oh, you're still running at age 72? You've just expanded your business? Whoa. I want to grow old and be like her. That's the type of people you want to have around you. See what their habits are. See how you want to have habits like they have. Is it about food and overeating? Is it about drinking too much or the wrong kind of beverages? Watch those successful people. Ask questions on how they strategize and experience success. Wonder about how do they live, so you can think of them as a mentor when you're making choices that will help you create those new habits. Now, the other is letting people know your new identity, those closest to you that will understand. I've been thinking of myself that I've been a loser all these years, when I'm not a loser, or I'm a quitter, or that I'm not disciplined. But I have discipline in my work. Why can't I have discipline in my home and in my kitchen? That doesn't make sense. Share that with others. An opportunity may also to be join our Facebook community, Health Habits Hope, where you might be inspired and find someone that's struggling, that's making changes, that's doing the same thing that you are. That may be helpful too. Now, the fifth step is to take action. Get help if you're struggling. You don't have to do this alone. Like I said, you could be disciplined in one area and you just need a nudge in another. Whether it's buying a new day planner so you stay more organized and put working out twice a week on your calendar and you actually follow it. Maybe your fitness app, the one you're using to log some of your foods, you don't like it. Well, don't stay with it. There are so many free versions you can use before you buy. Try something new. Take action with something that you're doing that's not working for you. Maybe your best friend has horrible habits and you succumb to a negative habit every time you're with them. For you to be a stronger person, you may need to have a conversation with them. I need your help. They may be oblivious to that's a habit that they have. And if they're your friend, they want to help and support you. Speak about who you want to be and why. Now, as I recap the key points, this isn't about making drastic changes so the people around you don't recognize who you are, that you're forcing this new identity on you. No, change can be uncomfortable. People around you, they don't want to notice. They just want to remember from January of 2024 to January of 2025, you went through a transformation. So they didn't see all those hard, uncomfortable, unfamiliar pieces of you. They just got to see this vibrant new you and started liking being around that person. But we know that we have an identity that drives our behaviors, and making small habit changes builds and then solidifies and gives us confidence in our new identity. I encourage you, take a moment to reflect on what you have heard. Take your number one goal that you've set for this year, right now, and ponder, what is my identity statement about this goal? Oh, this is going to be really hard, but I'm going to do it. Is this helping or hurting me? And then begin the rewrite process so that if what you hear in your head is negative, you are ready to go with something positive. I am strong enough to go through the changes I need to go through while doing something hard. Maybe that's one that you can say. And me, Annie Banani with the fanny, That person has moved away, way beyond those limiting beliefs. As I said, I no longer focus on weight and body image. I don't have a scale in my home. And what's interesting is I'm the leanest I've ever been. And I don't count my calories. I just live a life with a belief system that tells me, is this good for me or not? Ooh, you ate a lot of protein yesterday and really enjoyed some of those fried foods. Maybe I'll lighten up today. And I have this balance in my system that keeps me aligned. So I no longer focus on body and image. And yeah, I'm aging, and yes, I could look at my body and criticize different pieces, but I don't. Because I look at my body and go, there she is. She's that active and vibrant aging woman. That's who she is. And I'm going to keep being more like her. And again, I focus on activity, I focus on body, and I focus on my brain and be the best that I can be. How about you? What are you going to do and be? Are you going to focus on nourishment, activity, friendship, sharing, kindness? Start putting those words into your identity vocabulary. So remember, every small step you take reaffirms the person you are becoming. Start today by believing in your ability to create that positive change that your heart and mind desires. Thank you so much for listening today at the Talking Apron. I'm Ann, and if you're interested, go to www.facebook.com/groups/health habits hope. Thanks so much. We'll meet again.